this will work. I got this cool thing that is for cell phones, and you can like put your phone anywhere, supposedly. But what it does not work on is wood. It doesn't work on porous wood. So I feel a little bit disappointed about that, but it's got suction cups on one side and a magnet in here, and so like you can hear it magnetizing. But it will pretty much stick to anything. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm charging up my phone, and then I'm going to take you and I'm going to set you on this big box truck that we've got in the yard. And then you should be able to watch me do the thing. So we'll see. Okay, this has 52%. That should be fine for listening to stuff. Everybody talk, everybody talk, everybody.
Buddy, how are you doing this fine Tuesday? I'm doing quite well. Well, if you look around the internet, it's actually pretty unclear what in the heck just happened with Lil Rod's lawsuit against Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs. I mean, if you look at some people's accounts, it was a huge win for Diddy. If you look at some people's accounts, it was a huge loss for Diddy. Lil Rod lost, Lil Rod won, RICO case dismissed. What is going on? I consulted with the documents, so let's look at this together. Now, if you don't remember who Lil Rod is, I honestly just can't blame you because so much stuff has gone on, but Lil Rod was one of the first credible, I'll put credible in quotes because that does appear to be what the general public did concede, but he was one of the first credible sources to make an allegation of SA or S trafficking against Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs, okay? So why is he supposedly credible? Well, it's because he came out with his allegations very long ago in the grand scheme of what's been going on with Diddy. He first filed his lawsuit in federal court all the way back in February of last year.
I can put all my TikTok stuff together so that I don't accidentally misplace any of it.
And it would have been only 2 months or 2 or 3 months after Cassie.
Yes, I can.
Her lawsuit against Diddy. So again, this is one of the first lawsuits. Another reason why people consider
just waiting for my phone to charge up a bit
is because Lil Rod Jones is a music producer who is making allegations about Diddy from the point of view of someone who had worked for Diddy or with Diddy as a music producer. This person was supposed to get credits on the Love album Off the Grid. Now, when the case dropped, originally I did cover it on my channel pretty extensively. I read through it on all of that. You should check out the Diddy playlist if you missed that. I mean, again, it was over a year ago. But just yesterday, March 24th, 2025, the judge in the case did make a significant number of findings in an opinion and an order. Now, originally, Lil Rod had sued under federal laws as well as state tort claims. The federal laws are also civil, but they are allowing on subject matter jurisdiction these claims to be brought in federal court because it would be a federal question jurisdiction. Now, the two laws, the federal claims that Lil Rod Jones did try to file under were the civil RICO statute and the Victims Protection Act. So I think this first federal claim may be why there is some confusion out in the general public over what RICO claims got dismissed. RICO can be charged by the feds as a crime, or it could be charged by an individual as a tort. A tort is something that is a private action between citizens or between people or companies, between parties who are not the government. Then there's a criminal RICO statute, which the government has the sole jurisdiction to bring. So essentially, the elements are very similar. You do have to prove if you're suing for this, whether you're trying to get somebody convicted of a crime or whether you're trying to sue somebody as a victim of a civil RICO. So Lil Rod Jones and the feds and both in the SDNY, Southern District of New York, both at the same time had some RICO allegations going on. As of yesterday, March 24th, 2025, Lil Rod Jones's federal RICO charges or allegations or claims have been dismissed. This is only pursuant to the civil, not the criminal, the civil RICO charge, which was made by Lil Rod Jones, a private party. He is not a representative of the government. He is not the feds. He is not the law. He is just a private citizen. So his RICO charges have been dismissed. They have been dismissed. We can get into the reasons why in just a moment, but I did want to sort out the confusion. So it does seem to be a point of issue that people thought that if Diddy was found to be liable of this RICO charge, which the judge did not determine Diddy's liability, because the judge said that Lil Rod and Tyrone Blackburn did not even provide enough evidence or allegations to adequately plead RICO so that it can be decided on whether or not Diddy did the RICO. The judge is basically saying Tyrone Blackburn and Lil Rod Jones did not do a good enough job pleading their case. So the judge cannot even allow it to go on beyond a motion to dismiss. Now, why is it that the judge could have dismissed some of Lil Rod's claims against Diddy and Combs Enterprises and the rest, but the judge did not dismiss others? What was going on in that, just to remind y'all, is that Lil Rod had sued about a year ago a bunch of parties, including Christina Karam, including Diddy, including Combs Enterprises, including UMG, including Motown. He did drop some of those defendants. But Diddy, for his own part, then responded to that lawsuit and filed a motion to dismiss. He said none of these claims are cognizable for many reasons, and he wrote out these long, motion to dismiss arguments. So yesterday, the opinion and order that came down was the judge deciding on Diddy's motion to dismiss. And at the stage of a motion to dismiss, the judge is really just deciding, has this plaintiff, if I take everything they said as if it was a factual statement and it was true, did they plead enough? Did they make the arguments to satisfy the elements of each individual claim of action? So all the claims of action are separate. He had, like I said, Lil Rod had alleged 2 federal tort claims. That was the RICO Act, the civil one, and the Victims Protection Act, the federal one. And again, that is civil. That is a civil cause of action, but still under federal laws. These are federal laws that the federal government put in place, like Congress and stuff like that. Now, Lil Rod also sued on a bunch of causes of action which were based in state tort law. Now, this is very interesting to me because if you're also keeping up with that Baldoni case, this is coming up a lot right now. In that Baldoni, Lively, and all of them, like all of them have spent a significant amount of lawyer money arguing on which law of which state should apply. But over here in this Lil Rod with the Tyrone Blackburn representing him and Diddy case, they didn't really spend a lot of time or money arguing on state law at all. So you do have the judge in this filing right here kind of having to piece together what's really going on. Like, I don't even know which state law to apply, but for the purposes of right now, I'm going to just apply New York or Florida, and you'll see as we get through it. But the state law claims, so not RICO and not the Trafficking Victim Protection Act, the other claims that were not those two were as follows: as assault, emotional distress claims, including intentional infliction of emotional distress and negligent infliction of emotional distress, which deserves its whole own video as far as explaining what those things are. But just know that the second major cause of action as alleged by Lil Rod Jones in this state tort cluster were emotional distress claims. So as assault number 1, emotional distress number 2. The third one was premises liability. So Diddy had control over the premises of either the yacht or the home or the whatever, record studio, whatever. And he had control over inviting other people, including this Jane Doe 1, Cuba Gooding Jr., and so Lil Rod was suing, saying, look, Diddy had to control over these people, over this property, and for that reason, he owes me a liability to have made sure that I didn't get as assaulted. And then the fourth state tort claim was a breach of contract claim. Lil Rod's alleging, me and Diddy had a contract. He agreed to pay me to write songs. But in order to effectuate that contract, all this other stuff happened. He didn't operate in good faith, and he didn't pay me my money. So for those reasons, I'm going to sue him under a breach of contract as well. So in all, there were many statutes that Lil Rod relied upon, but generally we were working with 6 major claims. The 2 federal ones having to do RICO and the Trafficking Victim Protection Act, and then the other 4 were as assault,
I literally just saw them.
premises liability, and breach of contract. Okay, so yesterday, what did the judge actually do? Kept some of those claims alive and basically killed off some of those claims. Now, just to note as a side note, there are a couple of outstanding issues which relate to Justin Combs and Cuba Gooding Jr., but those are in a separate bucket off to the side. What the judge did yesterday was got rid of some of these claims. They cannot continue forward. Diddy's motion to dismiss was granted on some of these issues. And so in that way, Diddy did win. He won on a few of his arguments. However, the judge did allow some claims, even though Diddy said they should be dismissed, the judge allowed some of Lil Rod Jones's claims to go forward. So in that way, Lil Rod did win, and Diddy did lose. However, this was only a motion to dismiss. This was not the dispositive action. There is no discussion of specific damages. There's no discussion of how much money. There's no discussion of the fact that, yes, Diddy definitely is going to have to pay Lil Rod. Diddy was found liable. None of that. So we're really just looking at a kind of intermediary pre-discovery ruling. Now, all of these arguments had to be made without the parties going into any discovery. The fact that this has now been allowed to move forward on at least some claims, which I will specifically enumerate momentarily, the fact that it has been allowed to move forward means that discovery is going to start. Diddy and the rest of the named defendants who did have their causes of action survived, they have 2 weeks to now reply to the complaint.
Almost
beyond
there.
A motion to dismiss. They have to actually start to file papers within 2 weeks. So let's go through one by one each of these specific claims to see what survived, what we can look forward to the court having to decide in the future, and what is not going to be discussed anymore because the judge said, no, Lil Rod and Tyrone Blackburn, you did not do a good enough job. We will start by going through the opinion and order, and this, again, document from yesterday. Okay. Plaintiff brings this suit
had some headphones.
violations of the RICO Act and the Victim Protection Act. Based on Diddy's alleged as misconduct, before the court were motions to dismiss, which were filed by Diddy, his enterprises, and Christina Karam. For the reasons that follow, the motions are granted in part and denied in part. So the judge does get into the factual background and allegations. I am not going to really take time on these because I have done it before and because I'm just sick and tired of reading about the depravity and the debauchery. Whether it happened or not, I'm sick of reading about it. But it just basically outlines what was alleged, that Lil Rod Jones was assaulted by Diddy, allegedly. It was facilitated by Christina Karam, his assistant, and Justin Dior Combs, as well as Cuba Gooding Jr. were both named. So J.D. as an alleged assailant, this would have been Young Miami's cousin, reportedly. He allegedly lived with Diddy over the duration of these assaults because he was working on this Love Off the Grid album. There was this whole Pew Pew incident at the Chalice recording studios, which I'm not a judge. I don't know. All I'm going to say is I think the judge did handle the Pew Pew incident with a little bit of nonchalance. Like, it doesn't really seem like the judge spent too much time paying attention to that whole thing. Yeah, so these are the factual allegations. Thanksgiving Day 2022. Jones alleges he was SA'd by Jane Doe 1. Coerced into participating in commercial acts, alleged some things had gone on with underage people at parties who were forced to drink liquor laced with narcotics, threatened to eat Rodney Jones's face, purportedly, allegedly. In addition to
74, come on, battery. Let me see if I can check my earphones.
Okay, so on top of that, all right. Last year, And Jones had voluntarily dismissed his claims against
Close out
certain
everything.
defendants, including Ethiopia, Habtemarian, and I think Motown, etc. Oh, this is important.
All right.
He dismissed it only after the court had denied a request by those defendants to impose sanctions. So the defendants that Lil Rod Jones had dismissed his case against already, those defendants had actually tried to get sanctions against Tyrone Blackburn, who is the lawyer on this case. Now, before the judge even gets into the specifics of the case and his findings, he gives a...
All right, let's go get prepped. Got this. Need the rags. So this cool little doohickey that I've got, I'm gonna be putting you guys right here. Okay, that's the right way. Okay. I apparently pressed a whole bunch of buttons all at once. How do I make this stop? Okay. I kind of think I wish I had changed the orientation of my shit, but it's all right. Got it. Okay, so it doesn't work on only a couple of stickies. It needs to be good and stick-dified. Please stop doing that, phone. If I could angle it a little bit, that would be better, but that would be perfect, but I really don't think it's gonna stick there. Yeah, it's not. Okay. Haha, look at what I got. And dude, look at this. Oh my God, you guys, seriously. Look at how clean it is. Like that right there just needs a little bit of scrubbing. It was a spot that I ran out of the chemical for. But look at that. The bus is fucking clean. Look at that. No algae. No fucking mildew, mold, and whatever else. Okay, I'm scared. I wish I had a belt. I don't know though. Should I just like leave this stuff in the bus or should I leave it outside? I think I should just leave it outside. Give myself like a little platform or something. Okay. Put some water in this. So I have to go up on the roof and I have to clean some Goo Gone off of the roof with Goo Gone. I have to get some stuff off the roof. I'm gonna wipe it down, prep it for, ew, gross, some underwear. Some fucking skivvies on the ground. Yeah, you do have brand new ones, right? Let's go get a brand new one. Damn, dude. Look at that. Look at those leg muscles. All right. Damn. Oh, it fucking fell. Really? So let's see if it does better like this. Yeah, that's way better. That's way better, way stronger. Or Lord, bud. Oh, heck yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, well, this thing is fucking bullshit. So, I am gonna call and complain. Because this is bullshit. It's not working. It keeps falling. Whatever. I have to let them know what I think about that. had a fucking like a speaker or something. I wonder if I have a speaker that would work. Black web.
Bluetooth connected.
Warning to Tyrone Blackburn, the lawyer for Lil Rod Jones, the plaintiff's lawyer. The judge says before addressing this, the court finds it necessary to issue a warning to plaintiff's lawyer. Previously, now this also this comes right on the heels of Tony Busby, also in the District of New York, also representing plaintiffs in Diddy. He was on both sides of the information as well. He actually got to so there's a lot of ways that the court says about Tyrone Blackburn, he was in court declined to oppose sanctions on Tyrone Blackburn related to the quote, admittedly false claims he filed on behalf of Rodney Jones against UMG
Over here.
and associated
Right here.
defendants. Quote, while Blackburn knew after incompetent at that time, the court found that there was insufficient evidence to prove an engaged in a pattern of bad faith. So this that would rise to the matter for the sanctionable activity, and the judge said, I found that you were a little bit incompetent, but I already found that you didn't act in bad faith. However, keep it cute, don't get crazy, is basically what the judge is saying. Blackburn, as a pending referral to the Southern District of New York Disciplinary Committee, is refused to investigate the case. About Tony Busby, that he didn't investigate the basic elements of that gentleman. He didn't investigate there's a lot of stuff but one specifically, the defendants did the fact that the same exact types of things are being alleged, the fact that they're in the same district, the Southern District of New York, and being subject to the discipline of the same committee, the Southern District of New York Grievance Committee, but this is not a Tony Busby case, it's Tyrone Blackburn. In light of this, the court finds much of Blackburn's conduct regarding Diddy's motion to dismiss to be unsettling. So the court is saying, I find Tyrone Blackburn illegal to be unsettling. His filings are full of inaccurate statements of law, conclusory allegations, and quote, inappropriate ad hominem attacks on others' For example, he urged the court to consider a grand jury indictment of Diddy and related criminal charges. Blackburn writes, quote, as evidenced by the U.S. Attorney's press conference and the grand jury indictment, defendant Sean Combs and the RICO, quote, presumed guilty of being a RICO criminal organization. The judge said that any license member of the bar would espouse such an absurd understanding of the law is not just disturbing, it is shocking. Then, rather than focusing on claims even in his lawsuit, Blackburn writes, quote, his the judge said the first thing I is similar in mode having nothing to do with this case, misstatements in the document. In response to Diddy's lawyer's understandable objections,
Blackburn hurled schoolyard taunts at him, like they're just so excited. The court has the inherent authority to sanction Tyrone Blackburn, so the judge is basically threatening a little bit. I mean, not in a violent way or anything, but it is kind of like, not a threat of promise or something. The court is saying, these people do not come to me and ask for a sanction, so I will sanction you myself, and I have the authority to do so. So watch your step. That's what speaking to the judge. On the court about Bill Blackburn, Lord Jones, who's actually a plaintiff at this point, quote, it warns Blackburn that further misconduct may lead to sanctions or to referral to the his lawyer has a professional obligation, but the court instructs the collaborative constructive manner with fellow lawyers and to allow this litigation to proceed efficiently. The court is not going to hesitate to enforce this obligation moving forward. So Tyrone Blackburn gets a little admonished, and specifically seemingly adjudicated to have committed misconduct. Further misconduct. That implies that there was misconduct in the first place. So that's a very important aspect of this. We might have seen video titles, once the rules of order from the judge, that is true. It does appear that the judge did warn Tyrone Blackburn, and the judge is not going to be now the judge gets to the detail of the And the reason that the civil veto was dismissed, according to the judge, is because Lil Rod Jones had to very specifically conclude that it was
Orly, no!
legal activities that specifically directly caused his loss. And the judge has determined that his loss, his harm, really was just not getting paid under the contract, which for me, I don't agree with, but I'm not the judge. I'm just telling you what the judge has found. So the RICO case cannot move forward because Lil Rod Jones and Tyrone Blackburn did not adequately plead it. The judge says here on page 10, the question of the timeliness, RICO pleading moving forward past the motion to dismiss. Again, this was not to determine did Diddy violate the RICO or did he not. Did he sever on because Lil Rod Jones was not no. So the question for the court at that stage, at this stage, when he's permitted to move forward, I think that was, but the judge said, for the RICO, the judge says here, whether any of the other alleged RICO predicates or the pattern of practicing and distributing itself as a whole caused defendant's failure, caused Diddy's failure to present. The court said it cannot identify this causal link, and therefore it was dismissed. Now, the second federal claim that Lil Rod Jones filed against Diddy was that
There's like a lot of stuff up here. It's like gunky. It won't come off. Do we have any razors? It's definitely been patched before.
However, the equally as I think, equally as serious and severe victims protection act, that one does appear to stand. So the judge is going to let that move forward as tool
water down in here.
Holmes is also going to allow us to move forward as to Christina Karam. Okay, so Christina Karam and then Sophia Holmes, these two are going to move forward. They're getting sued. They got sued. They are defendants. They got to defend themselves. But the judge said that because it becomes global business, but essentially, as far as the businesses that are concerned, just merely paying for travel, just merely coordinating travel and transportation of an alleged so-called victim is not enough to bring these businesses in as a co-conspirator or as a victim. And it was defined here that there was no specific agreements made with Cone Global as to like NDAs or settlement agreements or anything like that. And so because the involvement of Cone Global was really kind of limited just to sort of like perimeter stuff, the dissidents Cone Global as to the Freedom Protection Act, the federal cause of action, is dismissed. So we're going to do a roundup of the I'm going to tell y'all like everything that has survived, but essentially no RICO case survived. And the TVPA, the Protection Act claim against Cone Global, was dismissed, but the Protection Act against Diddy, Christina Karam, is moving forward, and they got 2 to respond. Now, the judge will want to state new claims which will be assault, emotional distress, so that's going to move forward. Now, this does not mean that Diddy is guilty. It does not mean that Diddy is liable. It means that now we're going to have to go to the next stage of litigation, the discovery phase, for the court to determine if Diddy did it, etc. The next stage for the claim is emotional distress. Both of these are dismissed. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, dismissed. Negligent infliction of emotional distress, dismissed. These are extremely difficult claims to ever win. They're very hard to win. Most of the time people don't win them. I mean, we can get into why. I'm not going to do that today. But essentially the judge says that Lil Rod Jones did not adequately plead one of the required elements, which is, quote, severe emotional distress. So I argue the intentional infliction of emotional distress or negligent infliction of emotional distress. These are things that, like, if somebody does something to feel like, or something like that, like something really big, so those aren't going to move forward. So on those, Diddy won. Diddy won. Now, does that mean Diddy won? Oh, no, it's not. But in that way, he did. And they got their rules. The third stage court claim is the premises liability. So kind of saying
Orly!
Diddy chartered a boat into that Diddy that assault wasn't happening. Diddy should be responsible because he owns the premises. He should have been responsible for what happened there. The judge actually does side with Lil Rod Jones on those arguments. The shocking thing about that Holmes has said that, one thing happened on the yacht, so that happened. So a premises liability claim survives. It was not dismissed. On that one, Lil Rod Jones won and Diddy lost. And then the final cause of action did have to do with the breach of contract, which this one, I don't know if this is the judge, but it could also be because I'm not in New York or the New Jersey bar, but it's the same test they take. Something specific about the statute of frauds, y'all. If you had a royalties agreement that is verbal in nature and the agreement cannot, it's impossible for the agreement to have been a
Don't scrape too hard. I'd use one of them green scrub brushes, you know. Heather.
Huh?
I'd use a green scrub brush, please. Don't scratch your paint too much.
I already did so much. Inside the bus, I bought this scrubber that attaches to the drill. It's in the bus in the kitchen underneath me. Do you get it? Inside the bus, there's a brand new package. It's 2 scrub brushes. They're circular. They have pegs on them that attach to the drill. Dude, it smells like rats so bad coming through this vent. They're in the ceiling. I need the drill. I got medium. It can't be the quick release. It has to be the hex peg. My drill is just a bit further down the bus inside. If you go to the, just keep walking straight. You'll walk right straight into my drill. Yeah, it's right over there on the other side of the mattress. Yeah, on the floor. Should be like right there.
Finally, Will Rod's claims of business as to John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10 and ABC Corporation's 1 through 10, defendants who have been served shall file an answer to the surviving claim within 14 days after the date. So, Diddy did win in some ways. And
Yeah.
did lose in some ways. LaRod Jones.
Are you inside still?
In some ways.
Oh.
And LaRod Jones did lose.
Make sure that star bit
Did get a warning.
gets put somewhere inside. It's my last one.
Wow.
There's a bowl underneath this table right here with screws in it. It can go in there. Will you move that over here to the front anyway? If you bring it over here, then we can get this corner, because I can't get this corner, it's gonna fall.
What now?
If you come closer to here, I can reach from the ladder to strip this rivet strike, because I can't get that area without, I'm scared I'm gonna fall. Yeah. I don't understand how this is supposed to take me down. Maybe it's a good zone? I'm really struggling. See how nasty it is? Like scratched up. Yeah, and the guy did it. And then he even, I just pulled wet caulk out of here. Like really still wet caulk. So apparently he caulked over wet water and then it just caulked over it and sealed it up. It like never dried or did anything. It was goopy in there. It's nasty. So yeah, I need like a razor to get that off, right? Glue gun is working for like this little bit of residual stuff.
I use a plastic spatula personally.
It won't even come up with my knife.
Or a wire brush. And a freaking Dremel. That's not really working, is it?
It's not doing shit.
What'll work is the goop off. The goop off.
That's
will
what
work.
this is.
That's goop off. So you don't have goop off in a plastic bottle, right? I bought it with a muffin bottle.
So yeah, so this is what I was doing. I was scraping.
It's actually not a paint cup, it's
be painting the roof anyway, right?
This is like something better.
This knife is also dull as hell. Did I really come up here without my jewel? Oh, it's all on the charger. Are you coming in? You want to go outside in your yard? What do you want?
Other? Where are you?
Inside grabbing something. Putting the dog away.
And for the residual, there's goof off, which will wipe that right up.
Okay. That's the stuff I'm using. Goof off, right?
No, you're using Kugan.
It says goof off.
Oh, you got the yellow can? Yeah, and you didn't dilute it, did you?
No.
No, be
It's
careful.
alcohol.
What's that?
It's alcohol.
No, it's not. It's way more than alcohol. Shit, way more than alcohol.
I guess I should wear gloves then, huh?
Don't wear gloves either, because
It'll melt.
it'll melt, and a lot of the gloves it does something really weird. So somehow
Separates the oil from the.
somehow it still leaks through the gloves,
Yeah.
and then it's trapped with your fingers, and freaking you're like feeling like cold sensation after a while. Like it's basically chemical burn happening.
Yeah.
I've found like everybody always says wear gloves, but I found it's best to just roll it out.
Let it
and
dry.
Wash your hands immediately afterwards. It'll mostly evaporate before you hit the freaking faucet, but gloves are fucking questionable.
Okay. Well, this thing I tried. This.
But when you spray it, spray heavy, like get it good and soaked, you know, and freaking let it sit for a second, and it'll dissolve the stuff and then wipe it up.
Okay. Am I on YouTube? Yeah, I'm on
Most of it
YouTube.
looks pretty good though. And you might want to find, now this is where I'd have a glove ready to go. When you start putting the caulking on, you either want to find my caulking freaking tool, which is a little thin freaking, it just has multiple edges, like one round's end, one round
To push in.
edge.
I was gonna use the gloves and spritz the caulk with a little bit of water and run my finger down it.
I wouldn't even spritz it with water, just run your finger down it.
Yeah, that's what I got gloves for that.
Dip the glove
In water? Okay.
And then, because you want as minimal water mixed up in the caulking as possible.
Okay. Pause.
And I personally wouldn't even worry about it. Let it stick to the glove and just collect and push it into the next crack and collect and push, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Brad, is that you? Hey, don't wait. Hold on. Let me get my camera. Just... Ow! Hold on. Right.
What in the world is going to be happening in Canada now?
Always be doing this. God damn it. the bad bitch. Even when you don't feel it, you're still the baddest. Hey! Girls! Stop that fighting! Piglet, cut it out. Be nice. Share. Someone hit something with the roof, Adam. Yay! I'm fucking scared up here. So, this is what it did look like. Actually, that side was much worse and nasty. So it's like, was like that a little bit. It was very nasty. And so I just got it all scraped up. I'm gonna spray it with this stuff. And wipe it down afterwards. But so this is what I'm taking up. Nightmare fuel. Huh? Yes. Yes, infinitely. Yes. Piglet? Okay. Okay, cool. I'll show you the video of exactly the type of bed that I want, too. And I'm pretty sure that the wood that I bought yesterday is exactly right.
I've got some lumber up at Barbara's if we don't have, if we're short a little bit.
Okay. I don't think that we will need much more, especially now that I'm just going to be using slats for the thing.
Yeah. So we'll build your bed frame today.
That would be so nice. And then I can paint it and seal it. Yeah, money. I threw that one out. That one was at my front door this morning. Yeah, she's the best. Little did I know when I named her Money how apropos that name was. Oh. Sorry about that. And you're like right in the fucking sun. I'm gonna help my boss move some furniture for a client upriver. So I'm gonna go meet some new neighbors that I haven't met yet, and that will lead to job opportunities. Pretty excited about that. Knees are getting slippery. God, this thing works so good. God, dude. No fucking wonder there's leaks. I really hope my ass isn't hanging out. All right, I think I'm done. Give all this a chance to dry out.
Power off.
Where'd he go? Yeah. Oh. Dude, it works so good, Adam. Are you ready? All right.
You want to just drive up together? We'll come straight back here. Or...
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Can you catch this for me? It's got goof off in it, so be careful, okay? Don't set yourself on fire. I'm just gonna let it. Yep. Nice. Put it somewhere in the shadow. Older sister? Because I'm a fuddy-duddy.
You have
I'm like an old lady.
advice. Not that you're bossy or anything.
I'm full of wisdom. That's why I've got my most loyal people on the YouTube. And like my closest friends with this stuff. That's what they say too. They say that I've got a lot of wisdom, a lot of good information. You know, there's a porta-john right there.
Yeah, kid.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so go slow so that you don't have to hurt yourself. Hit my elbow on that every time. I didn't hit it that time, I just barely scraped it, but okay. I'm gonna put some more clothes on. I'm just gonna change into something more like professional. That fucking thing don't work for diddly squat. That fucking, my phone fell so many times. Ooh, it feels so good in here. Good job, Heather, opening windows, being smart. No, I haven't gotten the mice out. I got all of them out, and then my cat got the majority of them. There's still a few mice in the house. It's very apparent to me that they are in the ceiling. So what I have to do, I'm going to build the bed, do the caulking, and then I think what I'm going to do is I am going to systematically start taking the roof panels out and like redoing that. I'm going to have Brad in there with me today. I'm going to pick his brain. I'm going to try to get him to give me advice on like what to do. So like maybe if we don't build the bed today, maybe what we could do is maybe what we could do instead is instead of building the bed frame, I can take the panel that's directly above the bed, get rid of all of the insulation out of that, and just start framing it back with insulation. So we'll see. I have some plywood that I could use to turn it into a ceiling. So we'll see how that goes, what he thinks. But what I definitely need to do is oh, that's why it's there. Those unzip so you can put your boots on. It's gonna be too hot to wear these. I just have to take my boots off, damn it. So anyway, I need to take the ceiling panels down, and I need to clean out the area thoroughly, and then I need to insulate the ceiling and either put the metal ceiling panels back or start framing it out. So I'm just gonna have to see what Brad thinks, like what he thinks that I should do slash what he's willing to do. But he's excited. He just was inside the bus and he was like, oh, Heather, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna do a bus conversion. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, fuck yes. Finally. All right, I gotta go to work. think I'll wear my ugly boots. All right, y'all. I will be back. I will be back in like maybe 40 minutes. I may not live stream just because Brad's going to be working with me for a bit, and you know he doesn't. I just don't want him on camera. But I got my paycheck. I got $500. Oh my god, I'm so excited. If I put in a 40-hour week, I would make $1,000 a week. I just can't mentally put in 40 hours a week. Here, you come outside. Wait. Here. Right here. Come on. Ooh. Inside. Good boy. All right, I'll be back. I love you. I'll see you later. Mwah.